So let's maybe right click and hide unselected here, just so we have this one piece. And we're gonna also need to put some glass in here, so let's do that now. We'll just grab maybe another box here, and we'll just draw it from side to side. Something like that should be good, give it a little bit of thickness. And we'll also right click the move tool and zero out the X and Y again. And we'll just move it into position here. Okay, so we'll set it right in the middle. Something like that. And let's also put another bend modifier on this one. And we'll bend it on the X again, and we'll just take this up a little bit. And we'll try to match the curve there in the top view. Okay, so let's do about 13.5 again. Also throw that gray shader on there. And I think that should be probably good for the thickness. Okay, so that should work fine. Let's reselect that piece and we'll collapse the bend down to add a poly. And we can actually get rid of the side polygons here. We don't really need to have those in there. So let's go to edge. We'll just grab this corner edge, ring it, Control-click polygon, and we'll delete that out. All right, so we just have the front and black planes there. Okay, so I'll take care of the glass. All right, so let's unhide all again. And we'll just start working on the other smaller pieces now. All right, and let's maybe take a look at our reference picture here. You can see that we have some clips here that kind of wrap around the sides and hold this bar on, and we have a couple bolts in there. So we'll just make this one of these clips, and we can just actually clone it around for the other four or other three. All right, so let's maybe get started on that. And for these pieces, we want to make sure that they actually kind of contour to the edges that we actually have here, or the surface of this piece when it's smoothed. So let's maybe see if we can actually create this out of some of these polygons. All right, so let's reselect the shield there. Let's turn off the edit or the turbo smooth, and let's go back down to polygon here. And let's just maybe grab these polys right here. Okay, just these ones, and make sure you get the back ones as well. And we can actually probably deselect this one and the back one, so we just have the side ones here selected. Okay, like that. Alright, so we'll create this piece out of these polygons, and let's actually detach these from the surface. Okay, so with those selected, we'll go over to detach here, click on that, and we'll detach as a clone. We want to actually clone them off rather than actually removing this selection from this mesh. Okay, so we'll just detach this clone, hit OK. That'll clone those polygons off for us. We'll just see if we can select them here. There they are. Alright, so let's maybe put a shell on here just so we can see where they're at. Alright, so I'm going to drop a shell modifier on top of that. We'll take the outer mount way down, and we'll just bring up the outer mount a little bit so we can see where it's at. Okay, and obviously we need to adjust the height here, so let's maybe go back down to poly, turn on show and result here, go to vertex, and we'll just grab these top verts here, all of them, and just shrink that down a bit. Okay, and we'll grab the bottom ones here. And let's make those planar on Y just to straighten the edges out. We'll do the same on the top ones. Okay, so we have a little clip piece here. And I think that should work for what we need. Alright, so let's maybe go back up to the shell. And we'll just take up the outer amount a little bit more here to get the thickness that we want. Okay, we don't want it to be too thick, but we do want it to be somewhat noticeable, so let's take it up a little bit more. Let's do about 2.5 maybe, and we'll see if that's about the thickness we need. Alright, that should work good for the silhouette. Alright, let's also go down here and make sure we have straighten corners on, which we do. So that should work for our clip. We're going to need to make some adjustments to it here. We also need to kind of extrude out some tabs. Alright, so let's collapse the shell down now. And we'll hit Alt Q, and we'll just have to clean this up a little bit here. Alright, let's maybe get rid of the inner polygons. Alright, so I'm going to go to polygon there. Let's actually turn on by angle here. I have that set to 45 degrees, and we'll just click in the inside here and select these inner polygons. Okay, just like that. Delete those out. And let's get out of isolation mode here just for a second. We'll go into the top view so we can kind of see where this is. It's also a center of the pivot point on it. So let's go into the hierarchy tab, hit effect pivot only and center to object. Turn the button off. And we'll just figure out a way to kind of extrude these tabs in. Alright, so let's maybe get rid of a few of these edge loops here. Let's grab this one here as well as this one here. And we'll do a loop on that edge. Okay, so we have these ones selected on each side. We'll just control backspace those out. Alright, and let's grab these verts here. Alright, I'm just going to move these a little bit more to the inside. And we'll do the same thing these ones here, just move those down a little bit so they're inside the shield. And let's maybe add another segment right here. Alright, so I'm going to grab these edges. Let's do a connect on those with one segment. We'll hit OK to that. And we'll go up here and turn our edge constraint on. And we'll go to rotate. And I'm just going to rotate this edge loop so it kind of matches the surface here, or these edge angles here. Right, let's move that back up a little bit, right about there. Let's see how that looks. Okay, and that'll give us a place where we can extrude this polygon out for kind of the tab there. And we'll do the same thing on this side here. Let's grab these edges, connect it up with one segment, give it a rotation, and we'll just move that out a little bit more, right to about here. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's perfectly straight, but try to get it as close as you can to match that edge. And that should work fine. Alright, let's go back to vertex here. And we'll just maybe move these back in a little bit more now. We don't need it to be that long. Maybe something like that. And we'll speed this up a little bit as well. Okay, so let's grab this polygon here. Let's turn off by angle, select that one, as well as the same one on the other side. And we'll just extrude those out. Okay, so let's open up extrude. And we'll just do maybe about 10 or so for now and hit OK. And then we'll just readjust the polygons here. Alright, so let's go back to vertex, grab these verts. I'm just going to manually move these in. Let's turn off our edge constraint first. Alright, we'll just kind of pull that in so we kind of match the edge flow here. Same with this one. Let's pull that down. Okay, and we'll also just straighten the end off here by just moving those verts over a little bit. Okay, right like that. And you can see this one's a little bit thicker than this one here, so let's move these down. It's actually inside the shield, so we won't be able to see that thickness anyways, but we'll just kind of straighten it out. And we can move those guys up a little bit. Okay, so we just have the kind of extrusions there kind of following the surface of this piece. Alright, let's maybe give it a little bit more detail here. We'll just maybe give the end a little bit of a taper. Alright, so to do that, let's maybe grab these edges here. We'll just do a connect on that. And I'm going to slide that down a little bit towards the end. Let's do maybe, actually let's undo that for a second. I'm just going to cancel that. Let's maybe just extrude the polygon out again at the end. Okay, so with those two selected, let's just do another extrude. And we'll dial that back a bit. Let's do about 6.5 on that one. And okay. And we'll just slightly readjust the curve here. Make sure everything's straight. Just select these verts right here as well as these ones on this side, so both ends. And in the front view, we'll just scale this down a little bit on the y-axis. Okay, so I'm just going to scale it down on the y to kind of taper the ends. All right, so we have kind of a little tab-looking piece there. All right, now I'll just give us a little bit more detail rather than just the perfectly straight corners. Okay, so I think that'll take care of that piece. Let's go back into isolation mode of all Q, and we'll just get rid of these inner polygons on these extrusions as well. Alright, so let's grab these three, as well as the three on the other side, and delete those out. Okay, so we have none on the inside at all. And now we just need to support the shape a little bit better. And let's maybe straighten out a few of these twisted edges here. So I'm going to put my edge constraint back on. Just going to go down here and grab these two pairs of verts here, and we'll just move that down a little bit to straighten it out. Okay, and we'll just do the same thing over here. Let's just straighten these ones out. Okay. Alright, so now we'll just support the shape a little bit. And I'm also going to just actually move this vert back. Let's turn off our edge constraint here, and we'll just straighten this one out as well. Okay, so now we're ready to add the support edges. Okay, so back to edge, we'll do the exact same process here as we did with the other pieces. Just ring these two edges here. Okay, we'll do a connect. Two segments, no slide, and we'll just slightly pinch those apart. And you want this piece to have quite sharp edges along the top, so we'll do about maybe 50 on the pinch. And okay. And same thing here. Let's ring that edge as well as the bottom one. Okay, and that should select all those edges there. Do another connect on it, and we'll just leave that at 50 with two segments, and okay. And we'll also do some at the top and bottom here on the sides. Alright, so ring one of those side edges, connect it up, take the pinch up to say 95, and okay. Alright, you can see here, because of the angle, this is a little bit closer to the top than it is over here. And if you want to fix that, you can just actually just grab these verts here and just pull them down a little bit to even out the edges. And the same thing here, just grab those ones and move them up. Okay, and we're also going to need to support this corner here on the inside, so let's ring one of these edges on each side again. And we'll do a connect with two segments. We want to support this inside corner as well as this taper here. All right, so we're going to need one at the top there. And we'll do maybe about 90 on this one. Okay, and the exact same thing here on the ends. Ring those two edges and connect them up. And we'll do that maybe about the same, and okay. All right, so that should be enough support to hold this shape. So let's put a turbo smooth back on. And we'll do two iterations and isoline and just see how it looks. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's get out of isolation mode to see how it's fitting around the shield here. Okay, seems to be following the surface pretty good. And I think that should work fine for that clip piece. Alright, so now that we have one of those done, we can just actually clone it to the other sides. We'll also make sure we have it positioned correctly. Okay, and you can see it's a little bit bigger than the one that's actually on the blueprint there, and I did that on purpose. I want to have the bar a little bit thicker at the back, so we're going to need to make the clip slightly bigger than it actually is on the blueprint. Okay, so we'll line that up right there in about the center, and we'll just start cloning it. Alright, so I'm going to select that piece there. We'll center the pivot point on it. Okay, and with the button still selected there, we're actually going to zero out the x-axis so the pivot point is in the center of the shield. Okay, so we'll turn the button off, and now we can just do a mirror, and we'll do that on the x as a copy to get our clone over there on the other side. Okay, we'll just make sure that lines up correctly as well. Okay, that looks good. So let's control click the original one. So we have both selected, and we'll just shift drag those down on the Y and line them up with the second one on the blueprint there, and choose copy here. Okay, so right about there. That'll take care of the 4 clips. And we might slightly need to adjust them later on when we get the bars in there, but we'll worry about that later if we need to. Okay, so let's take another look at our reference picture here. And the next thing we'll do is start working on these bars here on the back that hold on the handles. And I'm going to slightly change this a little bit here at the ends. We'll kind of make a tab that kind of fits over top of the little tab brackets that we have on each side. Okay, so to do that, let's go maybe back to the front view. Just going to hit F3 here to go into wireframe mode, and I think we'll just start this out of a plane. Okay, so let's grab a plane here, and we'll just draw this out from one side to the other, like so. And we don't really need to have those segments in there, so let's get rid of those for a second. Let's also make sure that we have it centered on the x-axis here. Okay, and we're just going to need to figure out the length that we need here, so let's just actually move it to the back. I'm also just going to select the blueprint image here, and we'll move that back quite a bit more here so we have a little bit more room. Okay, so let's grab that plane again. And we'll just apply our gray shader to it. And let's drop on a bend modifier. Okay, we'll bend that on the X again. And we'll take it down to a negative amount here. And let's actually add some segments first, that might help. Okay, let's go back into the front view here. I'm just going to up this quite a bit. Let's use maybe twice as many as we had for the other pieces here. Let's do 16 on the width segs. Okay, now we should be able to bend it. Okay, so back up to bend there. And let's just bend it the other way. Okay, we'll just push it in here until it touches in the middle of the shield. Okay, so just like that. And we'll just adjust the angle here a little bit more until it's sitting on top of these tabs at the end. Okay, so we just want it on top like this, and then we'll just put a bolt through here. It'll be a little different than what's on the reference, but that's okay. Alright, so it looks like we want about 34 on the angle on the x-axis. Okay, that looks like everything's lining up correctly. Alright, let's also maybe figure out the length that we need here. Okay, so let's drop back into the plane. Make sure you have the show end result button on here. And we'll just adjust the width here. Let's do 505. And for the length, let's do maybe 18. Okay, we can adjust that a little bit more if we need to later on. Okay. And we'll drop back up to the bend modifier here. I'm just going to go up a little bit more here. We'll do 34.5. Okay, that looks like that should fit properly for us. Okay, so now that we have that figured out, we can start modeling the bars here. And just to avoid any problems when we smooth it out, we're going to model it flat and then we'll bend it later on. Okay, so I'm actually just going to delete the bend modifier off the plane. Alright, so it's back to being straight. Move it out a little bit behind here so we can see it. Okay. And we'll start modeling this in. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is actually clone it down, holding shift on the Y to the next set of tabs there. Alright, we'll try to line it up in about the middle, choose copy, and OK. And we'll just maybe attach these two together. So let's convert this one to editable poly. And we'll go over to attach and just attach to the top plane there. Right? And we need to have a couple of struts that go between these two bars for the handle to sit on. So let's go to edge. And let's maybe grab the fourth edge in on the bottom here, as well as the fourth edge in on the top, and we'll just hit bridge, and we'll do the same thing over on this side in the same position. Okay, so the fourth segment in from each end, and just bridge those two. Okay, that'll give us the little struts that we need. Okay, and I think that should work fine. Alright, so let's just deselect those edges of the viewport. I'm going to turn off edge there. Let's center the pivot point on this. Okay, and we're going to need to make some extrusions here to kind of pull out the detail that we need. So let's maybe put another bend modifier back on. Okay, and we'll take it up to what we had. Here, let's do it on the x-axis. Back up to 34.5, and we'll just push this back in for a second. Okay, so it's sitting right on the surface there, like we had it. Okay, we're going to add a couple of extra edge loops here at the end so we can kind of modify the shape. Okay, and to do that, I'm going to leave the bend modifier on, but we'll go in and we'll put an edit poly modifier on top of it. Okay, so that we have an edge selection here. Alright, so we'll go into edge. I'm just going to grab these edges here, as well as the two at the bottom. Okay, and we'll go into the front view. I'm just going to switch this to the back view for a second. Okay, and we'll just zoom in a little closer here and do a connect on this. Alright, so let's open up connect. Let's do one segment, and let's just slightly move it here. I'm going to move it to about -5, so it's a little closer to the end of this tab, and we'll just hit OK to that. On this end, so grab these edges here, and these ones, and we'll do another connect. And we'll just change this to +5, so it's in the same location. And okay, and later on we'll probably end up actually working on one half of this and flipping it over, but just for the time being, I'm going to do it on both sides. All right, so everything looks good right there. Let's maybe go in and drop another modifier on top, and this time we'll use the shell modifier to give it some thickness. Okay, so choose shell there, and we'll just create a little tab here. Let's maybe get rid of the outer mount. We'll just take up the inner mount a little bit more here. And let's do that maybe about 2. Okay, we'll also go down to the bottom here and check on straighten corners again. And don't worry if it's sitting right on the surface, we'll be adjusting the bend later on. Okay, so it's okay if it's a little bit off right now. Alright, so now we need to extrude out the front polygons as well as the back ones, and to do that I'm going to drop another edit poly on top. Okay, and we'll go down to polygon. Just going to hit Alt Q here to go in isolation mode, and we'll go around the back, and we'll just grab some of these polygons here. So I'm going to turn on indoor back facing, and we'll just start one in from the end and just select all the back polygons. Okay, all the way to the other side, and leave one unselected on that side as well. Grab those 2 strut ones, and we'll do the exact same selection on the bottom. Okay, just like that, and make sure you have none of the front ones selected. Okay, so let's exit isolation mode. Okay, and we'll just kind of zoom in here a little closer and extrude this out. Okay, so let's open up extrude. Alright, we'll take that up a little bit here. Alright, you can see it's going a little twisted there, so let's switch our direction here to local normal, so it extrudes straight. And we're just going to pull that in so it kind of tucks around the end of the tab there. Alright, just until it's touching the surface. And it looks like about 4 is the correct amount. So okay to that. And we'll do the exact same process here on the front. Alright, so we're going to grab the same polygon selection on the front. And we'll leave that one on each end selected or deselected again. Alright, so just grab all those and make sure you have none of the other ones selected. And we'll just extrude these ones out. Okay, so let's open up extrude again. And we'll just bring that out a little bit. Let's do maybe about 4.5 or so, and we'll hit OK. And let's maybe do one more on it. So we'll hit extrude again, and we'll just take this one down a little bit here. Let's do about 3.5 on this guy, and OK to that. Alright, so let's maybe go back to vertex here, and we're just going to kind of manually taper this corner edge over a bit. So we'll go into the top view. Let's turn off ignore back facing here. We'll zoom in really close, and we'll just grab these verts here. Okay, the 4 verts there, and the same 4 verts on this side, holding control. Alright, so we have the 2 corners selected on this side as well as the other side. Alright, and I'm going to go up and turn on my edge selection, or my edge constraint, sorry. Okay, and then using the scale tool here, we're just going to slightly scale this over on the x-axis to kind of taper these ends in. Okay, it just has to be a little bit. Okay, maybe something like that. Okay. And that might be a little too much. Let's undo that. Whoops. A little bit less. Maybe something like that. So it's just slightly tapered in. Okay, and we'll just check to make sure that worked on both sides here. Okay, that looks good. So let's turn off vertex here. And we'll go back into the back view. And now that we have pretty much this modeled out, before we start exporting it, let's just maybe go down in the modifier stack here to the bend, and we're just going to right click and copy that. Okay, and now I'm going to delete it, so the piece will go back to being straight. Okay, we'll just pull it out here a little bit, and now we'll just start adding some support edges here to hold the shape. Alright, so let's zoom in on the end here. Just going to go back to edge. And to make this a little bit quicker, let's actually just maybe do it on 1/4. Alright, so let's go to vertex first, and we'll just grab all the verts on the right side of center here and delete those out. And we'll also chop this piece in half, so let's go back to edge and grab these vertical edges here. Make sure you have ignore back facing turned off, and we'll just do a connect on that with one segment for now, with no pinch and no slide. Alright, and then back to vertex, grab the bottom verts here, and we'll delete those out. And this will be a little bit easier for us just to work on one small piece at a time here. Alright, so now we'll zoom back in here, go back to edge, and let's just grab this edge right here, and we'll just do a ring on this, and another connect. And this time we'll do two segments, and just pinch those out slightly here. I don't want this to be too sharp, so let's do maybe like 30 or so on the pinch. And we'll do the exact same thing here on this edge, so let's ring that guy and connect it up with two segments. And for this one, we'll just do 0 on the pinch, so they're right in the center. Hit OK to that. And we're going to need a couple here as well on this tab. Alright, so let's do another ring there, and another connect, and we'll just do 2 in the center on this one as well, so no pinch. And same thing back here on this edge, ring and connect. And we'll just slightly pinch this one out a little bit more. Let's do about 40 on that one. Okay, and let's do a couple this way as well. So let's ring these edges here, another connect, and we'll pinch this one out a little bit more. Let's do about 85 maybe, and okay. And we also need to support it this way, so let's ring this edge and connect it up. Just gotta dial this down a little bit. Let's do about say 78 or 80, and okay. And we'll just do a loop on this edge maybe here, and control backspace that one out. We don't really need that one. Okay, and we're gonna need to add a few support edges around this little strut we have here. So let's grab these vertical edges and connect that up. And we'll just use one segment this time, no pinch, and we'll just slide that up to the top. Okay, I don't want it to be super sharp, so we'll do it a little bit lower, maybe around -92 or so. Okay, and we can probably do this in the back view just so it's a little easier to see. Okay, and let's grab these vertical edges here, or horizontal edges here. Another connect, and this time we'll do 2, and just pinch those out to the sides. And we'll do about 85 again. Okay, we also need to add one right here and right here, so let's grab these edges and these edges, and connect it up again, and we'll do that about the same 85. Let's maybe slightly take it down a little bit, maybe about 83 or so, and okay, and we can actually get rid of this edge loop and this one. So grab those two edges, loop them, and control backspace them out. Okay, and we also need one across the front here, so let's ring one of these edges here. One more connect, and for this one, let's maybe do about 85 on that as well, with two segments. Okay, and we can actually delete out some of these polygons here on the back. Let's go back to polygon, and we'll just turn on ignore backfacing here, and grab a couple of these polygons. Let's actually see if we can select it by angle. So I'm going to check that on, and we'll see if we can grab the back polygons here. Let me just go into isolation mode, Alt Q. Okay, so we'll just delete these ones out here. I'm going to leave the back of this piece as well as this piece here because we will be able to see that from the back of the shield. So let's just delete out these ones. Okay. And I think that's all the support edges we need, so let's turn off polygon. And we'll just maybe collapse this down to edit poly now. So let's right click and convert to editable poly to collapse the stack. Go back into the back view, and we'll just put a symmetry modifier on this, and we'll do that on the x-axis. Okay, that looks good. Let's add another symmetry modifier. Okay, and we'll do that on the y-axis. Okay, and if it's not touching up here in the center, just drop this down to mirror, and then you can move this up and down. Okay, so just move it up enough so they're actually touching. And we'll just get out of that, and that should be the full bar here. So let's right click and convert to editable poly to collapse those symmetry modifiers down. I'm also gonna just grab these middle edges here, loop them, and control backspace them out, and we'll just add a couple of additional ones here to help it smooth. So let's grab all these edges, another connect, and this time we'll do maybe 3 segments with no pinch and no slide, just to break up those long polygons. Okay, so let's maybe exit isolation mode here, spin around the back, we'll put a turbo smooth on, and let's take it up to 2, and we'll turn on isoline display. Okay, and just check to make sure everything's smoothing correctly, and that looks pretty good. So now we'll drop on another bend modifier, and we'll just take it up to what we had originally, which was 34.5 on the x-axis. And we'll just push this right into the surface here and make sure that everything lines up correctly. Alright, so just sitting on the surface there, and just make sure those tabs are touching up right about there. Okay, that looks pretty good, and everything seems to be lining up correctly. Alright, so I'll take care of that back bar for us. And I know the poly count's pretty high on this piece as well, but we'll be optimizing that later on. Okay, so everything's looking pretty good. We just have to worry about the handle, as well as a couple other brackets we have down here and a couple of bolts, which we'll do next.